Hey friend, welcome back to Fig and Farm at Home. If you are just joining us, hey, welcome. I'm Danny. I am the host here at Fig and Farm at Home, and I inspire and teach busy mamas how to decorate their homes on a budget. And with that in mind, this summer I am in the middle of a summer savings series where we are tackling ways that you can create lovely spaces in your home by strategically taking care of your budget. So the first 2 episodes of this series were all about thrifting. If you haven't listened to those yet and want to start from the very beginning, go back and listen to episodes number 257 and 258. But part of our series too is learning how to strategically use other marketplaces as a resource and really being strategic about it. So in episode number 259, I talked with Alyssa about how you can find the good stuff, the name brand stuff over on Facebook Marketplace. Episode number 260, if you missed that, is talking with Elaine from Curb Vulture about what to do with these things once you get it home. So go back and take a listen to those. But now we are in the middle of DIY. Last week, we talked with Michelle about ways that you can be inspired as a beginner, things that she's learned along the way, and tips to help make your job easier as you start out on this DIY journey. But today is a really special day because today I'm bringing on Mr. Fig and Farm at Home, and he is so inspirational in the way that he has tackled these different builds along the way. He started 17 years ago, and you'll hear him say even in the interview that his previous experience was nothing other than using Legos. Okay, you caught that right. Nothing other than using Legos. But now he is doing builds that are quite technical, and he's advanced his skills, and it just kind of shows how, just like anything, the more you do something, the more you practice, the better you become. If you compared his builds to a master carpenter, yeah, it might still look a little bit like he has room for improvement, but don't we all? The goal here in this episode is to show you what is possible, but to inspire you along the way. And you'll hear Greg and I talking about how over the course of time, we have put our stamp on our home in so many ways, changing our builder grade into something that's a little bit more personalized and full of character. We have built something almost for every single room in our home. We are just shy a couple closets and a couple bathrooms. Actually, 1 bathroom. That's pretty much it. And in that conversation, you hear us how we project that we have saved about $15,000 in fees because we chose to do it ourselves. And you'll hear me invite you to become a design bestie. A design bestie is someone who receives the Fig and Farm at Home newsletter. I would love to give you the sneak peeks, the behind the scenes look at things that happen in the Fig and Farm at Home world. Design besties are the first to hear of things opening, like something that's really exciting that's happening in September, but only my design besties know about it. I haven't mentioned it here on the podcast. So if you are wanting to become a design bestie, I want you to just email me, hello@figandfarmathome.com, say hey, and I will make sure that you are put on the list. But when you are, you get to take a sneak peek of our home. I am going to give our design besties a tour so that you can see all of the builds that Mr. Fig and Farm and I have done together. All right, friend, enough of me chitty-chatting. Let's get talking with Greg. Enjoy today's show. We grew up with the phrase, home is where the heart is, but our culture has shifted, and now the message is, home should be Pinterest perfect. I'm calling BS on that message. Home, it's not about the stuff, it's about the story. And whether you know it or not, your home is a reflection of you and is already saying something. So what is it that you want it to say? Hey, I'm Danny, a former first grade teacher turned home decorator. Going from a dual income to a single income so I could stay home with my babies meant budget, like ramen eating, Goodwill shopping budget. And I learned a few things along the way, like how to bring big style to your home without breaking the bank. And I'm sharing it all with you. Tips, tricks, decor, and design advice so you can learn to tell your story with your style. Where you can start living free from the Pinterest perfect trap and start living a life of intention. Welcome to Fig and Farm at Home, where we design happy living and where it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Hey Greg, thanks for coming on the show today.
Happy to be here. Excited I get to finally be on.
We are doing a summer savings series with the intention of inspiring these busy mamas to make change in their home and create homes that they absolutely love. And it doesn't just mean saving money, saving $5 each month in order to set aside for making the big change. So you're on to talk a lot about DIY. Because I know there are a lot of people out here who have the Pottery Barn budget, they have the Pottery Barn style, they have the Crate and Barrel style, but they don't have the Pottery Barn budget. They have the Target budget, they have the Walmart budget, they just can't afford spending thousands of dollars on these things. So we had just last week, if you're just tuning in, you will have heard me talk to a brand new DIYer, Michelle. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen. The link will be in the show notes. But I want to talk to you because you are not a beginner DIYer anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Before we recorded this, I went through and I listed all of the things in our home that you have built for us. Do you just guess how many things you have built?
Pieces of furniture specifically?
Sure. Anything that you've built?
10.
Oh gosh, so many more. So I went through every room in our home you have built something for.
I believe that.
Except for the kitchen. Except for the kitchen. You've not built anything for the kitchen yet. We're going to talk about that at the very end.
Put the tile up though.
You did. Yeah, we have put our stamp on every single thing here. And if it's not you and your woodworking, it's me and my art or sewing or something, or even some of the woodworking too. In fact, I'm going to invite our listeners to be a design bestie. Design besties are when they get an email from me, and I'm going to give them a tour of our home. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
So they can see everything that you've built.
Sure.
It's pretty amazing.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. Before you have built dozens of things for our home, what was your very first build, or what was your DIY or building experience before doing stuff for our home? Do you have any?
Probably Legos. Not
Really?
really with woodworking. I mean, my dad never did anything like that. I don't know that I ever really grew up with anybody that did that kind of thing. So, no, I don't think I had really any experience.
Did you do woodshop?
No.
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 I did woodshop.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah, had it. But no, I never took that class.
Okay, amazing.
Pinewood Derby.
Yeah.
Boy Scouts. We did that, but that's not really...
Where you start with the block and then, yeah. So you had no DIY experience?
No.
Okay. I'm going to describe for them right now so that they're not like, yeah, he built a wobbly bench. Okay. Mr. Fig and Farm has built, if you come into our home, the very first thing you'll see is our library. And it used to be a blank wall, and we had vision for it. A lot of vision for it. I had vision for it. And I said, Greg, here's the picture. Would you mind building it? It is a almost floor to ceiling bookshelf with a rolling ladder. You built the rolling ladder.
I did.
How hard was that?
That was tough. That was a complicated build. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if we keep moving, you built our dining room table.
Yep.
Why don't you walk them through the house? What's next?
Well, you're the one that actually looked. I built the credenza. Is that what you would call that?
Uh-huh.
Built-in seating and shelves in the...
Was a eat-in kitchen, but we didn't use it like that. We kind of call it the sunroom. It's just the space next to the bar.
Yeah, but a window seat and shelves, built-in shelving for that. Built your cupboards in here.
Uh-huh.
Murphy bed upstairs.
Uh-huh, a Murphy bed.
Owen's built-in desk and shelving. In our bedroom, I don't know if we've done anything. Oh, I guess I did the shelving.
Yeah, you did some floating shelves, and then I did the wall treatment, but you added the picture ledge and the barn door. You made the barn door.
Barn door too. Yeah.
Okay, you've got 2 more rooms: the laundry room and the boys' room.
I built the shelving for the laundry room and built the boys' beds.
Yeah, and the desk. By shelving, I mean these are, we designed a cubby system in the laundry room that fit just so that would hold the laundry baskets. This isn't just some cute, I'm air quoting, shelving. You did a good job. Okay, so before you did all of that, What was your very, very first build for our family? Do you remember?
I do. We laugh about this.
We do. It was so
inspired
cute.
Built-in shelving in our first child's bedroom. That was not well designed or executed, but
it was
it worked.
It was your first.
It was.
And you had to have not only, I mean, of course you had to have courage, right, to do it.
Sure.
But the motivation to give it a try. Was it your best? No, it wasn't. But wow, have you moved on from there?
It's definitely gotten better.
So I'm just curious if there's anyone out here who's wondering, like, well, yeah, Mr. Fig and Farm is now the expert, but what would you say to talking to, I don't know, maybe a friend down the street who's like, I want to try something. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know what, maybe even tools to start with. What would you say?
Well, I mean, I think the first project I did with that cupboard or those built-ins in the closet was more a need and kind of some inspiration. Like I was sort of intrigued by the project to create an efficient system for what we needed at the time that we couldn't seem to find anywhere else, or if we could, it was just stupidly expensive. So I think those inspired me. And then, with all my projects, so, I mean, I think probably the way to approach it is start with the inspiration. Find what it is you want to do, get a plan in your head as to how you want to do it. And now probably do some research if you've never done anything else, like how to use a table saw, how to use a drill, how to use pocket screws, how to use sort of the basic things that you would need. And you can get that on YouTube. I used books and magazines back in the day, but now all that stuff is on YouTube. So, start with those things so you can get a sense of what does it mean to really put these things together, and like, do you have the time, energy, willingness to buy the equipment that you would need in order to make it work, and then go for it.
Yeah. And you didn't have a mentor helping you. You really learned on your own.
Yeah.
But
a lot of trial and error.
Yes. A lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. Like any mistakes that come to mind that you're like, ooh, wow, that was a waste, or ooh, that was, because there is, when you're starting something new, you have to practice. It's a learned skill, and you have to practice it, and you're going to make mistakes. So
I don't think any of my projects that have I ever done that there hasn't been something that went sideways with those. And it's one of those things that you do it and you realize, like, oops, that didn't work, and then you have to do it again and either take it apart and start over again. And sometimes I've had to do that. Sometimes it's just required me to have to buy more supplies, which is never fun. But and each time that happens, though, you learn, like, okay, now I'm going to make sure I do it this way the next time, and I won't have that problem again. And or you learn about different tools that, like, how do I put these two pieces of wood together in a way that I like, that's going to look right. And you do it one way and you're like, that doesn't look good. And then you have to do some research and you learn other skills and other tools that can help you do that. And each time you do it, you just get a little bit better.
Yeah. The thing that comes to mind when you say that is the phrase, like, measure twice, cut once.
Exactly. Yeah,
I'm not very good at that.
Yeah. And that, you learn that. You really do learn that. Double, triple check before you really make that cut or drill that hole or place that screw to make sure it all fits together. Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of joke sometimes too, because whenever you're having a new build for us, or even the shop, sometimes you build stuff for the shop, but when we have a new build, it's kind of an excuse for you to get a new tool. Which is awesome. I mean, it has allowed us to build your collection over time. Yep. Because you end up needing those things. Yep. Without having to borrow it from, my dad or whoever, or a neighbor or whatever. But, it wasn't let's go out and buy all the tools today. Do you have any tips for like I can think of one. When I did, we've done a couple shiplap walls. I did the boys' bathroom and the Murphy bed wall and then our bedroom. And I know, if I can, I get it cut at the shop, at Home Depot or Lowe's, or in order to A, save you from doing it, because it's a project I want to do myself, but B, because I would rather pay 50 cents per cut than the hassle of hauling the big wood home. Are there any tips like that or hacks or like, ooh, this made my job so much easier to just took a little bit off of your workload?
I don't know if there's any universal ones for that. Like, I definitely think that the more I do different projects and I learn about, like, boy, it sure would be nice to have something that would help me make this cut better. And then usually there is. I mean, people have been doing this stuff for hundreds of years. There's jigs and there's different add-on tools and things for different equipment that makes those projects a lot smoother and a lot quicker. I don't know that for any project is there sort of like a universal, like, here's a great hack for any project you're doing. I'm not sure I really have anything along those lines, but a lot of different projects and different tools can be really helpful and speed up the process and make it more efficient, make it work better. And so, if you're doing a project and you feel like it's just not coming together, do a little research, ask, just Google if that's what how do I put a dado together or things like that. And you're going to get 100 different options of ways to do it, and find one that fits what the space you have to work in and the budget you have for equipment, and you'll probably find something that works.
And you just said a word, and you said one earlier that maybe some of these people who are thinking about DIYing have no idea what that just was, and that was a dado. The other one you said earlier was, what is the thing? Oh, pocket screw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or countersink. That's something I learned from you. So much to learn. Do you have a favorite project?
I mean, I think the bookshelf, the library, I think has been my favorite project, because it came together really well. It was a large project, but it did come out. The complexities of the ladder were fun and challenging. I mean, there was a lot of curved pieces and angles and things that had to be just right in order for that to come together. And so I was pretty proud of that one. I think I like that one a lot. I think I like the tables I've built. I think that those projects I really enjoy putting the tables together. That's been fun.
Yeah, you keep threatening to get rid of my table. Like, I want to build a new one. I want to build a new one. But I love our table. It's so perfect. And I love that it has just enough rustic to it that it didn't matter if, well, maybe it mattered to you, but it didn't matter to me if, like, I do a craft project on it and I spill some glue, or the kids, accidentally.
It's like 10 years of homework.
Yeah.
Indentations.
Yes, exactly. I love it. It's one of my favorites. What is your next build?
I think most likely, well, you've got a table you need to get put together.
Yeah.
For your shop. So that's kind of the most urgent thing. That's not really a big build, but I am ready to use that reclaimed lumber in the garage and probably make another dining room table to sell.
Okay. I think that would be great. I think we can definitely do that on Facebook Marketplace or even down at the shop. So I'm going to go back to a comment I made earlier when I said you've literally, without looking at all of our closets and without looking at some of the bathrooms, we have literally built something in every single room. Kitchen is the exception. But I have an idea. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
So we have kitchen cabinets that don't go all the way to the ceiling, which I don't even understand why. By the way, pro tip, you don't have to decorate up there. That's not necessarily a space that needs decoration. It's just going to draw your eye up in a way that might not do any favors to it.
And those decorations will collect dust.
They will. And, we have like a cake stand up there, and we have like one of my sister's, I don't know, like a serving platter. But really, every time I want to use it, I have to bring it down and then wash it. It just collects dust. So here's my idea. Tell me what you think about it. I'm wondering if we can remove the kind of the molding that's at the top, that makes it look like it's finished. Remove that, build cabinets, and we might not even have to build the cabinets. We might be able to get the prefab ones from Lowe's, put them on top of there, and then mold it out or whatever, the term. But have it reach the ceiling. And if we have to fill the gaps or make it look like it's a built-in, and then those can be even with a glass front. It doesn't have to be glass, but a glass front could be kind of cool to put those things that are a little bit more, I'm using fancy. They're not fancy, but like cake stands or vases or things like that. What do you think about that?
It's doable.
Like,
It's definitely doable.
is it doable this summer?
We have a busy summer, so I don't know about that. But
Oh,
it's
trying
doable.
to catch you on recording. Oh, yeah. It is. I think it's something though that is within reach, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Do you think with all of the projects that we've done, if the idea is let's create a home that we love, first of all, I hope you love our home. Do you love our home?
Yeah. I do.
But to create a home with personality and that doesn't look builder grade like the next door neighbors, to have a little bit of our family's story stamped on it. We opted to do the DIY route rather than pinch our pennies and save and save and save and save to buy the expensive piece. And so I'm wondering, we have never done the math on that. We've never done the how much. I mean, of course we know what each project cost, but comprehensively, I don't know that we've ever taken a look at. We've probably saved a couple $1,000s, but I'm just wondering, I bet we can make a very good educated guess at how much money we probably have saved by doing it all ourselves. What would you guess?
Oh, I'd probably say more like $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, with the built-ins and the furniture and stuff like that, when you're just building them for the cost of the materials. Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean,
at least $10,000.
At least. I would say at least $10,000 with everything that we've done, and that includes the purchase of new tools along the way.
Yeah.
And the workbench you built in order to make your working job out there more efficient.
Yeah.
I would say at least $10,000 we've saved. Probably more like $15,000. That's inspiring if you think about it. And
it's motivating for me.
Yeah, oh, for sure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our kids are expensive. Have you seen our fridge?
Oh, yes.
Have you seen our fridge and the amount of food these boys pack away?
I have.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you have any last minute, or not last minute, but do you have any extra tips to inspire these people who might think, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try something on my own.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would just encourage you to be gracious to yourself in that process, particularly as you're starting, because it's going to, especially with woodworking or those kinds of projects, making things perfectly square and perfectly right, and that takes a lot of time and skill to get good at. And so be patient with yourself, and don't expect perfect right away, because it really is tools and skills that need to be developed over time. But if you've got a passion for it, it's fun, and there's lots of help out there online. On YouTube, you can find all sorts of things to get shortcuts and how to do certain things, and don't be afraid to use those, and know when you need to get a piece of equipment that you're just going to need to get to make it work.
Yeah. And as you were talking about that, I need to correct myself, because remember when I said we haven't touched every room in our home? We actually have, because in the bathrooms you wrapped those window frames. So those window casings that were kind of standard builder grade, they look so good. They look so good.
And we've wood wrapped all those.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say a new DIYer was saying, okay, Greg, that sounds great. What should I do first? If you were to say a build that to just try it out, kind of like when I say, oh, paint furniture, you want to try with something that's not your grandma's antique. It's not something that you absolutely love. Maybe find a $5 thrift store find, because it's a practice piece. Would there be any kind of project that you would recommend starting with that is kind of like a beginner build?
No, I don't. I mean, shelving is pretty basic. I mean, that's a pretty basic kind of project that can be really useful, and not just like a shelf, but like building a shelf unit. So. Learning how to make certain cuts and put wood together and finish it so it looks like it's all one piece. That's a good, simple, basic project. I mean, I would really, though, just encourage people to find something that they're excited about. Like, find a project that they are passionate about, that they're excited to do, because there'll be moments that are hard and confusing, and you're gonna need that, that bit of inspiration to kind of push through that. It might be smart to pick a project, like shelving in a closet. If it doesn't turn out great, you just close the door and it's not going to be a problem for anybody. So, but I think I don't think there's any one project necessarily I would suggest, but just find one that you're inspired by and go for it.
Awesome. I love that. And I really like that tip actually of doing something that is kind of tucked away. It's not going to be like the first thing you see when you walk in your home, kind of like we did with Owen's. And one of my first builds, actually, do you know where that is? Well, it's not one of my first builds, but this I just got a inkling one day when I was so tired of under our closet storage, our hallway closet. It's that really awkward, like you can walk into that closet and then there's a little section underneath the stairs, and it was so inefficient, and we would just throw our luggage back there, and I built shelves for that. And then I realized later, like, oh, I shouldn't have used that wood, or I shouldn't have used you. You often tell me that.
You are very good at picking out the best pieces of wood for the least important projects. You are really good at that.
You know what? Hey, okay. And then last thing, because I want to tell you what I'm really inspired by. I hope you're on board. Of course, I'm inspired by the kitchen project, but I'm really inspired by redoing our master bathroom. Can I get an amen? Can I get a verbal commitment?
I'm certainly willing to help.
Okay.
It's also good for people to know what their limits are. So
I've got it.
Right.
I've got it.
Right.
Okay. Well, this has been fun, and I'm sure we're going to get a couple questions. So if we do, I'm going to shoot them right to you because you're going to have a better answer for DIYing than I do. So
sure. Happy to help.
Thanks for joining us on the show.
Anytime, babes.
Friend, DIY may not be the solution for everyone, but it shouldn't be intimidating either. I'm going to try to find Greg's very first build, because when I say it was cute, I'm saying it was cute. You know the kind. The kind that has a lot of hidden meaning behind the word. It was cute. And it did its job, but it wasn't great. But he had to start somewhere. And that starting place was the beginning of what turned out to be something that he is passionate about. It's a joy for him to build these spaces. The thing that's keeping him from doing it, of course, is busy schedules for the boys and sometimes a lack of space to do it. We don't have a dedicated shop, so sometimes sharing space there can be a little bit of a hindrance, but the joy is there, and the amount of pride that he has for the things that he's accomplished in those builds has been really fun to watch. That evolution has been so much fun to watch. So we want to leave you with some encouragement today. Just like anything you try, the first time you pick up pick up a piano. You don't pick up a piano. The first time you pick up a guitar, the first time you sit down at a piano, the first time you try to make lasagna, whatever it is that you're trying to do, there's always a first. And the first, unless you have some great gift, some innate great gift, the first is going to be a little wonky. The first is going to look a little wobbly. The first is going to be probably not your best work. So here are the takeaways I have from my conversation with Mr. Fig and Farm. 1, be inspired. If you are not inspired, it's likely not going to fuel the continuation of that project. Number 2, do some research. Make sure that you are using the resources available to you, whether it is magazines, books, YouTube, a really great resource, your grandpa, your dad, whoever may be a mentor that you have down the street, whoever it is that maybe might be 2 steps ahead of you, use them, ask them, pick their brain. Just go for it. Absolutely. What is not only the worst that can happen, but what is the best that can happen? You might surprise yourself. Have a little grace for yourself. Absolutely. Amen. Mic drop. Yes, have some grace for yourself, because mistakes are going to happen. You know, one of the things that you guys know that I am an athletic coach, and well, if you've been listening for a while, you know that I am. I coach boys basketball, girls basketball, and volleyball, and I love it. I love being in the gym. It reminds me of my days as a teacher. But the thing that I always tell my athletes is that you will make mistakes. I expect you to make mistakes. I expect it. It's what happens with that mistake that matters more than the mistake itself. What do you learn from it? How do you move past it? What do you do next because of it? And that can only happen if you have a little grace for yourself. If you beat yourself up because you couldn't get the right angles or you had to go and buy another $5 piece of wood, well, you're probably not going to try again. So have a little grace and expect that you're going to make a mistake. Your first project is going to look nothing like your last project, unless you stop at your first project. I'm going to try to find Owen's closet system that Greg built, the very first thing he built. After spending years doing Legos, did you catch that? His previous experience was Lego building, which honestly probably was very helpful. I don't like Legos. I don't like them. Every time I sit down to do Legos with my boys, they're now bigger and they don't play as often. But when I did, I just wanted to organize. I just wanted to put all of the body pieces together. I wanted to put all of the colored pieces together, the wheels together, the trees together. I had a very hard time building because I was so motivated to organize it and make it more efficient for the boys to find the thing. And maybe that's why he's a better builder, because he can visualize, he's manipulated those objects for years and years and years and has a little bit of spatial awareness that way. Who knows? I don't know. That could be a fun research experiment. Not for me though. And then the last takeaway is it can literally save you thousands. You heard our conversation where we just guesstimated that we probably have saved, should we have wanted to buy or hire someone to do the built-in cabinet for us with the rolling ladder, that would have probably cost us a really pretty penny, a couple $1,000s just for that. And when he's not even spending $1,000 for materials, that is a big savings. Dining room table, how much do you spend for a dining room table? Think about that. How much do you spend for a credenza or a barn door? All of those cost money. And if you add it all up, all of the things that we have ever done, if we were to hire someone to do it for us, of course, that's expensive. But if we were to buy the piece anyway, that's expensive and also sometimes not real wood. When everything Greg is making is made out of real wood, that is a substantial savings. 10 to 15,000 we estimated. So friend, I want to know what it is you're going to build this summer. What DIY project are you going to tackle? And maybe it isn't a build, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it's finally that furniture piece you're going to restain, or that piece of furniture you're going to paint. Maybe it is finally learning how to sew those pillow covers, or making that piece of art that you wanted for your wall that you can't afford it at Pottery Barn, but you can replicate it. What is it? I want to know. I want you to come on over to the Facebook group and share it with us. You can find how to join that community by going to the show notes. All right, friend, I hope you are enjoying our summer savings series. The next 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about ways to literally save money and ways to maybe bring in a little extra cash, actually. Wouldn't that be nice? Without, by the way, becoming an influencer or doing TikTok dances. We're not about that here. Friend, I will see you back here next time. Until then, I'll see you soon. Hey, real quick before you go, if you learned something new or found value in today's podcast, would you head over to iTunes to Fig and Farm at Home and leave a review and subscribe to the show? That would be awesome. And if you'd like to connect with my community of mamas who are learning to be intentional storytellers within their own homes, join us at bit.ly/design101 group. There's always more room at the table. See you soon.